What is the fortune cookie message today? Trust yourself and anything you do will be right. Ooh. Trust yourself and anything you do will be right. That feels like it is going into the pocket of security, the pocket and place where you feel like you are there because of your truth. People say your truth will set you free. I believe that. Anything will be right. Why is that? I'm thinking about this message. Trust yourself and anything you do will be right. It feels to me like if you are on the right track, or if you are right within your conviction and your placement in life, and you trust in yourself, your ideas, your creativity, your verbiage, your presentation, then that's right already, right? People can object to you. People can decide that you're wrong and that there's a better way to think about something, or a better way to present, or a better way to go about something. But I get this. If you trust yourself, you believe in yourself, then anything you do is right for yourself, is what I'm getting from this and what I'm taking from it. We can go based off of what other people are saying, what other people are doing. There are plenty of leaders, prophets, plenty of individuals who you can trust and believe in and take their word on things. But ultimately, you're going to have to look into yourself at some point. You can't just rely on someone else or a certain group or a certain religion or a certain type of mentality to always take you somewhere. And it's not to say that you can't take it or bits and pieces or whatever it is that you need from it, because you can and you do. But I feel like this piece is about really trusting in yourself. How do you feel about the situation? How do you feel about what is being presented? How do you feel about how you are going about life? Because we can utilize other people in the world, which is great that we have reflections of ourselves and other people, and just general reflections, opposite sides of the perspective. And we can utilize that to help us grow, help us see ourselves outside of ourselves. And that is the great thing about life and having so many people that aren't like us, is that we can see, number one, differences. And we can utilize the differences to understand life, understand reality, understand what's around us, and cultivate an understanding for ourselves to help ourselves out. I like variety. I like a difference of opinion. I like different perspectives. I love when people are themselves. When people are confident, comfortable, you can tell. You can tell when they trust in themselves. You can tell when they trust in themselves and believe in themselves so much that it showcases in other people. When people are confident and when people are esteemed and when people can stand tall and when people can be there for themselves and other people, man, that is right. Anything you do will be right for yourself and other people. There are always the people who will be the antagonists and utilize them. Utilize demonic, devilish, derogatory type of people and entities out there. They're annoying, yes. They're bothersome, of course. But once you can take them out of your reality and space where you need to operate, where you need to grow and progress, utilize it. There's room for them. Now, I'm not saying that they need to be all up in my life and up in my space, up in my energy, darkening my light and my glow. No, 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 no. Go, 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 go. It's more or less when you pass me by or when we connect or when we interact or when we somehow come together, I will utilize what you're saying, what you're doing, and how you're making me feel. If you're making me feel some kind of way, you're making me feel indifferent, you're getting up under my skin, then it's time to check myself and say, why did that happen? How did that happen? And how can I move forward with that understanding? How can I protect myself in the future when I get in front of these types of people? These antagonists in life, just like it's shown in the movies, are there for a purpose. They're there for a reason. They're there to help us. Now, they don't need to hang out in our aura and our energy and be in our space for an extended time frame for which it's inappropriate or it's not doing us well or it's not helping us in life. We have to know when to push that away. Some people love gossip and some people love and enjoy it to the point of a default, to the point where they've lost themselves in someone else's mess, in someone else's drama, in someone else's demise. And then they've spent years talking about someone, years going after someone, years battling an issue that wasn't even theirs. And then they're mad. They're mad because they're angry and bitter and bothered, and people may not be checking for them or like, why are you still on this? Or grow up. Or why don't you have anything else to talk about? Why don't you have a little more substance? There gets to a point where you have to trust and believe in yourself and where you're going. You can utilize gossip for the good and betterment and for conversational purposes. But when it gets to a point where it's doing you harm, where it's giving you a bad reputation, you have to check yourself and understand that maybe that's not a good image for you. Maybe you need to grow up a little more. Maybe there's a little more maturity that needs to come into your life. So trust yourself and anything you do will be right. Some people do not like this. I already feel it in my spirit, in my soul, that some people do not like this. Because when you are secure, when you have a power and energy within yourself, like, for example, I'll go ahead and utilize myself. I feel like I'm in a good place. I'll tell people, although I have problems and issues and traumatic events that have come into my life and that are still in my life, my internal spirit, my internal soul is good. It's powerful. It's energetic. I am set like the sun. I'm abundant. That means that I am full. When you are full and you are radiant and magnificent and vibrant as the sun, you're a person who is illuminating and a person who can provide over and over and over again. And a person who is set, meaning I'm not tripping off you. I'm here for you. I'm a person who is in love with life and wants to be there for people. So that is my position. My position is that I'm okay. And because I'm okay and I trust in myself, you're right. Anything that I do is right. And it doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you don't have things to work on. It just means you're good inside your heart, your spirit, and your soul. People can break you. They can break you down. They can tear you apart. But there are plenty of things that you can look at me and say, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. Did you hear how that sounded though? I understand what I need to work on, and I'm working on it. And even when I wasn't working on it as much, or it wasn't visual, or there wasn't the results that you could fully see, I was still working on me. But there are so many people who are quick to judge you, not knowing what you're going through and not knowing what you're doing to help yourself, improve yourself. And that's okay, because those are like, the individuals who have that annoying, antagonistic rhetoric. I hear you. I feel you. I get you. You're annoying. But I can utilize you. I'm a writer, so I look at people many times as an opportunity. If you come into my life on some crazy stuff, some negativity, you are a person who I can utilize in my stories, and as well as my life story, my in real time life story that I'm living every single day. I'm utilizing the adversity, the opposite end of the spectrum, or good advice, recommendations. There was a female back in the day who came after me, and, you know, I brushed it off. It was a long time ago. And it was when I was, for the most part, a sporty girl. I've done a little bit to improve as far as my femininity and my presentation. But I'm more of a natural girl. And so I'm okay with wearing just lipstick, which is what I have on now, and mascara, and I'm good to go. I don't always like stuff on my face, like foundation, but I've tried it. So I'm not that kind of a female who will always be seen beat or fully masked up, layered up. You're going to see me, who I really am. And I am okay with makeup, but back in the day, when I say back in the day, 15 to 20 years ago, I was at a hair salon, and there was this woman who was doing my hair, my natural hair. And there was another woman who was working at the salon, and she was looking at me and just saying, she told me that I needed to do something with my eyebrows because I didn't do anything with my eyebrows. They were just natural. And I just brushed it off. When you have comments and commentary about yourself and you are who you are, you take it as what it is. I got it at the time. There are women who do full face makeup and that's how they go about life. And that's not who I was. But I was okay with myself. I never had problems dating and attracting men and being adored. And so that's where I was at in my life. I do a little bit more now because I've gone into a little bit, and I appreciate that aspect and that representation of me, but I don't feel like that's all of me. And I don't feel like that has to be my everyday. But I stuck to my truth back then, where a person who made a comment towards me could have made me feel bad and made it so that I was looking at myself like I need to make major changes and do something different. I stuck to who I was. And I appreciated her conversation, her verbiage, and her nudge to me. And I've had it before. I've had females say, why don't you do something with your nails? And, you're missing some polish on your nails. They kind of nudged me a little bit. I appreciated it because I utilize it now. But I would say this is a great message to trust in yourself, wherever you're at, that, and utilize the people who are giving you advice and opinions. And maybe you don't use it at that time. And maybe later on you pocket it and say, okay, I'm ready now. I feel like I have been able to be comfortable with myself because of this message, that I trust myself. I wouldn't have wanted to go throughout life being uncomfortable and feeling out of sorts because I'm trying to be something that I'm not at a time and place where I'm growing and maturing, or I'm just in a certain place where it's just not right for me right now. But I get it. There are people who wanted me to up the ante, to look a little different, to spread my wings a little more when I was younger. And I just wanted to be simple, basic. And being my simple, basic self was still okay. I was still good. I was still attractive. So, trust yourself, and anything you do will be right. Timing is one thing that I'm getting from this as well in my conversation I'm having. Timing, trust in yourself. Whenever it's your time, your season to blossom, to grow, to mature, you do that. It's not always on someone else's time. It's not always based off of someone else's opinion in that time frame. You go at your own speed, your own pace. So this is a good one. This is a hearty message. And you can go so many places with this message. But what I discussed today was what was on my heart at the moment and what came out of me. And I appreciate this fortune cookie message. And I will continue to trust in myself, believe in myself, and make anything possible for myself.